Oh yeah, welcome back everybody. I like this song,
Yeah.
Seth. This is solid, man.
Yeah, Seth, you did a good job with the music.
This got me excited,
selection,
dude.
yeah.
This is probably the thing I'm the most proud of.
Yeah.
Yeah, Seth's running the board right now, so give him credit where I will give him credit where credit is due. He's done a good job. Compiled the intro. He's doing a great job. You're doing good for our first episode, Seth.
Thank you,
Thank
Commander
you so much.
Dowdle,
I'll pat myself on the back since I'm in a different room as everyone else.
Colonel Dowdle. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, everyone, welcome back to the Riff Ram Review here on 88.7 FM KTCU, the choice, your choice for college radio. My name is Napetian, as I'm joined alongside by the same guys that were with me just about 5 minutes ago, Zion Trammell and Seth Dowdle. Yeah. We've been talking all TCU sports so far in this first 45 minutes, and we're going to continue that way. We started off with a little football talk with TCU in Colorado, then got into some TCU women's soccer. We're looking to bounce back, but now we got to change focus to an indoor sport. Zion, you've been covering TCU volleyball, and they're coming off of a tough weekend, a little bit like soccer. Firstly, talk to us about kind of you and just getting into TCU volleyball and kind of covering that.
Yeah, so I do it for Killer Frogs on Fan Nation, on SI, SportsIllustrated.com. We do...
Shameless plug.
I had to, I had to. Yeah, so I've been covering TCU volleyball. I started last year. Our editor, our publisher said, hey, do you want to start covering TCU volleyball? And I'll be honest, I really didn't know too much about volleyball. And over the past year, I've kind of been watching it a little more and trying to understand the game a little bit. And I feel like I have a pretty decent grasp of TCU, volleyball. And last year was a pretty successful season for TCU. It was kind of similar to football, like didn't really have high expectations. We really weren't sure what to expect. And they finished fourth in the Big 12, and they made it to the NCAA tournament for the first time in quite some time, several years, and they won the first round, and they got eliminated by number 2 Wisconsin in the second round. So they kind of just ran into a brick wall because Wisconsin's just really good with volleyball. I mean, it's just hard, that's just a tough draw. It's kind of like with TCU running into Gonzaga in the March Madness tournament a little bit.
All right, Seth, what's going on? I see you in the other room laughing like crazy.
Well, Wisconsin's just really good at volleyball, and then they played Minnesota as well.
Yeah.
And that's just a buzzsaw of sorts. The two top 10 teams, and especially if any Big Ten team, tonight, I don't know if y'all heard, but Nebraska's playing a volleyball game in their football stadium.
Whoa.
Really?
There's going to be 95,000 people there.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I saw that on I saw that on LinkedIn. Yeah.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was kind of like, oh, wait, where did I see that? And I saw it on LinkedIn. I know. Most random place to see that about volleyball, but I saw it. That's what counts.
You're like, well, yeah, I saw it on LinkedIn. But, no, it's definitely like volleyball is definitely popular in a lot of different parts of the country. Here, I guess it doesn't really get talked about as much, but I think like TCU definitely deserves their respect. You're going to look at the record and you see, okay, 0-2, but you played number 7 Minnesota and number 2 Wisconsin. Like, that's a really tough draw. And TCU is definitely talented, but they're not top 10, top 15 talented. There's a lot of good teams in the Big 12. Texas is currently ranked number 7. BYU is a new addition. They're ranked number 9. So BYU is like making an impact in other sports, that you wouldn't normally recognize. But yeah, they're really good, obviously, with women's with volleyball. And Houston's ranked number 13. Baylor's ranked 16. So Kansas is 23. I mean, you're really, it's a very competitive conference when it comes to women's volleyball, and TCU's going to definitely have their work cut out for them. They lost Callie Williams last year, who was kind of their leader, and she was, a fifth-year transfer, and her and Jason Williams, kind of came into this program and kind of turned things around. Jason Williams, his first year at the helm for TCU volleyball, really turned things around. So now you're kind of looking to see, like, okay, who's going to step into that leadership role? And I've been to a couple, covered some of the press conferences, and Julia Adams seems to be someone that is going to hope to step into that role. She had a terrific year last year. She just moved into 7th all-time in the TCU volleyball record books and kills.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she is definitely had a remarkable career for TCU, and she's ready to embrace that leadership role. She said, like, I want to be able to, take this group into territory that doesn't feel super unfamiliar. I want to make them feel comfortable, and she's definitely, I think, the right person to, step into that. And Jalen Gibson is another player that is going to definitely stand out for TCU. She had her first career double-double, I believe, against Minnesota. We also have some transfers with Melanie Parra, and then also Riley Buckley is another name you may want to watch. And so I think TCU should have a fairly good season, and I wouldn't take the first two matches as an indication of what's to come because they played some pretty stiff competition.
Yeah, Zion, Audrey Knowles did not play the last two games, I believe, right? And that's kind of a thing where she was kind of a top player for TCU last year, and then not having her on the court is definitely something. Now I don't know if it probably wouldn't have turned the tide of the games, but it's definitely, if you watch those games, you can kind of maybe think that, hey, TCU's going to play a little bit differently whenever they're fully healthy.
Yeah, and they rotated some players in. They got some freshman players in. Lydia Seymour is a freshman, and she got her first kill of the season. So I think Jason Williams is going to kind of see what he's got, similar to with pretty much any team. You really want to see what you got with your roster. And so, Audrey Knowles is a very important piece to this TCU team, and having her back is definitely going to make a humongous difference. And they have a tournament this weekend in going up against Coastal Carolina, Georgia, and North Florida. I would like to think TCU can take two of those three and get right back on track because this team's good. It's just a tough start to the season.
So now with this team, I mean, just kind of like you said, the expectations have to kind of change, and sometimes get curbed, or at certain points, even entering the season, you're not exactly sure how the team is going to end up come the end of the season. But how was the turnover from this team last year? Is it pretty similar, or have there been some big changes that kind of like, hey, we're looking to do better than last year?
Well, I mean, Callie Williams was someone that losing her is definitely impacted the team. They've mentioned her a few times, and sort of having that presence there is, she led the team in assists. I mean, she's a fantastic player, and so losing her definitely was a little unfortunate. But I think it's a pretty similar team. I mean, they've added some players, like I said. Melanie Parra was a transfer. She played at Texas a couple years ago, and so she's coming in and, kind of not necessarily filling Callie Williams' role. That's more Riley Buckley. She's going to be sort of filling that void a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it feels like a pretty similar team. I think it's more about getting Audrey Knowles back. That's pretty significant. And Jalen Gibson, she's now a sophomore, and I think she's going to grow a lot this season. So I think expect a lot of big things from her.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of just continuing on there, I mean, with these last two games, obviously it's still so early in the season, right? So you can't really make up your mind yet. But in terms of this team, have you been like, okay, look, is it kind of the offensive side of the thing, kind of just like generating points on the offensive side? Or is it like, hey, the team isn't doing great defensively, getting digs and getting those blocks that you kind of really need?
I mean, from what I was able to interpret, it's more so the offense. And again, like, keep drilling that point with Audrey Knowles. It's kind of where you need her to kind of pick up the slack a little bit on offense. But yeah, I mean, Jason Williams this season, he seems very confident in what he's got. I don't think what I really like about this team is the chemistry. They have really good chemistry. You could tell in all the interviews, they just really enjoy being around each other. They feed off each other. They've got a lot of confidence that they can go up against any team and take them head on. So I think that's something that really stands out, and it kind of excites me because, confidence and having that is so important. So to be able to, see that, and, they we're hoping that they can maybe win one of these matches. But Jason Williams is, saying that it's a good test, but it's not the end of the world if you lose the first two matches.
Well, TCU women's volleyball is going to look to turn around August 31st. That's tomorrow night. They're playing at Coastal Carolina. That'll be on ESPN Plus at 5 p.m. Then, I'm looking forward to September 1st. We play Georgia. Georgia might have a natty on us, but hey,
we might beat
let's
them
get
in
this
volleyball.
regular season
Let's
game.
go.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying, Add a tally to TCU there for me. So
yeah, let's get some revenge.
It's the 65-7 does not mean that there's an extra tally on the board. The tallies are just via the wins.
Exactly.
So if TCU beats Georgia in cross country and then beats them in volleyball, that's 2-1. That's an advantage. Give that trophy right back, Georgia.
It is exactly.
Yeah, I try. I'm kind of sad that you mentioned the score because I'd like to just think that TCU lost. It's the score is kind of.
This is an objective show. We have to present the facts, and that is a fact that happened. And
hey, let's embrace it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the football team's really doing.
Give it a nice little hug.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're embracing it. They said, hey, we got our butts kicked, but that doesn't define who we are. We had an incredible season.
Let's go back for more.
Not the losing part. You mean
exactly, not the losing part. But we're hungry.
Yeah,
we want more wins.
I bet you if TCU played Georgia again, that score would not happen. Hey, I think we all thought when we went down, we scored a touchdown. It's like 10-7. I told my friends, guys, we're good. We got this. Come on. It's, they're kind of dissecting our defense, but that's besides the point. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, TCU Volleyball will play Coastal Carolina on Thursday, tomorrow night, 5 p.m. At Coastal Carolina, and then they'll play Georgia on September 1st on Friday. So big stuff there. But we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we got one more full-on hour here on the Riff Ram Review here on 88.7 KTCU, The Choice. We got NCAA previews for Week 1. Then we're going to get into a little bit Texas Rangers and AO West madness. That's been absolutely crazy. And then to end the show tonight, we'll get into some Cowboys and NFL talk. But stay here. You're listening to Riff Ram Review here on 88.7 FM KTCU, The Choice, your choice for college radio.